Welcome, everyone. This is the Q&A of the movie Precious Ivy, and this Q&A is organized by the European Union Film Festival 2021, which is screening the movie Precious Ivy on the 25th and the 26th of November 2021. Precious Ivy is the selected German film for the festival, and with this, I'd like to thank the Goethe-Institut Toronto for making the screening as well as the Q&A possible. Before we start the interview, I would like to honor the land from where I'm zooming from. I acknowledge that I'm currently on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat people. And this territory is the home of many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. I pay my respect to the traditional owners, elders, ancestors, and young leaders of all these communities who are fighting to protect and look after land, community, and language in the face of ongoing colonial interruptions. I am Benita Bailey. My pronouns are she and her, and I am an artist who lives and works and thrives between the two cities, Toronto and Berlin. And now, without further delay, I would like to I'm super happy, excited, and honored to welcome Zara Vlaskevitz, a German filmmaker and the writer and director of Precious Ivy. Welcome, Zara.
Hello. Thank you.
It's so nice that you're here. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm fine. So in Germany, we have the autumn now and it's dark, as you can see at this time. It's 6 p.m. and yeah, we have to handle it every year. Berlin. The
Yeah,
summer is gone.
the rain is, but you are right now in Potsdam, or where are you at right now?
No, I live in Berlin.
Oh, you're in Berlin.
I
Okay.
yeah. I grew up
Um,
in Potsdam and now I live in Berlin since
oh, okay.
15 years, kind of. Yeah.
So thank you for being here. Congratulations on what I think was a beautiful summer. You premiered Precious Ivy at the Munich Film Festival, and since then you've been nominated for several awards. And Lona Ishima was nominated and won the German Film Award for Supporting Actress. So congratulations for all this success. It's amazing.
Thank you very much.
And I think most of you who were joining us today have seen the movie, so you might have some questions, and I'll do my very best to ask interesting questions. And so let's not wait any longer. So my first question is, it has to do with music, and I really like the opening song. It was such a cool song. It's now in my playlist. It's called Thicker Than Water by Emma Elizabeth, which, if I understand correctly, was specifically written for the film.
Mhm.
And I find the song, the title, Thicker Than Water, cuts right to the chase. And so my question is blood thicker than water? Is that like kind of the question you ask yourself, like, like a research question while writing the movie and creating the characters?
Yes. First, I have to say I'm very happy that you started the interview with this question because you are the first who is starting with the music, and for me it was very important because it was a very small budget for the movie, and I was actually, when I was writing the book, I was thinking of so many cool music artists like Little Sims and everybody, like cool black people and white people, and I had a lot of songs and I wrote it in the script, but we didn't have the money to buy the songs, so I changed my opinion to bring famous, or she's also famous, Emma Elizabeth, but bring like so expensive artist in it, because also it's so from somewhere else. Like if I take an American singer songwriter kind of, or rapper, or like this, and then I thought, okay, isn't it cooler to have a title song, a real title song for the movie? And I worked with Emma Elizabeth together before. I made a music video for her, or with her, and I really love her. Yeah, this singer-songwriter, this country style and this summer style in her music. And then that was a good decision to change, to make it by our own. And then, of course, we talked about the text, and it was really, really interesting for me, because I didn't give her the movie because we was editing at the moment, but I gave her like words and sentences. Words like searching, roots, sisters, father, friendship, feminism, woman, and then I gave her sentences like have to make myself known, like, and or be someone new. This is for me in the end of the movie. Ivy is someone new. I wanted to tell this. I gave her also the sentence, is blood really thicker than water? Because I had this question always in my mind. And then, and a lot of other sentences. And she, also like to feel locked in the body and in the skin, for the feeling Ivy has in the beginning when everything comes to her. So for me, it was unbelievable that Emma Elizabeth, I think she took just a couple of days to write this song text for me, for us. It was like, I gave her words, I gave her like pictures and moods and warm and cold and everything else, soul, punk, Afro punk. I gave her these words, and she created this song with my film musician together. He was also invited, Jakob Finch. He did the soundtrack. Oh, it was so cool. So yes, it was the first question, or it was maybe one of the first questions in writing. And then in the post-production, I come back to this question. It was cool.
Yeah, at least it really drew me in. And obviously, it's a question that I think I have, and maybe a lot of diaspora has, because we're facing like things like that. And so it was a really good way, I think, to bring us into the film. And so thank you for this gift. You were born in Leipzig. And you already said you grew up in Potsdam, now you live in Berlin. And those are also the places, Berlin and Leipzig are also the places where the movie is situated. So Ivy lives in Leipzig, and Naomi comes from Berlin. And my question is, what is the personal significance of Ivy coming from the former East? So Leipzig is in the former East. And even I remember some of the portrayals of Berlin were like Alexanderplatz. It was like places that are in the former East.
Yeah, it has two reasons. For me, I wanted to make a German movie, not a movie from a little town in a country, kind of. I wanted to make it a little bit bigger. Also, the two cities, they are so close and so different in the same way as the sisters are too. The sisters are the cities, and the cities are the sisters for me. So that was, it was just a decision for me to say, okay, I want to go back to my hometown, or where I was born, and I have the social. You can help me in German. The Sozialisierung,
Socialization. Yeah.
So socialization, as an former Eastern German person, and this is what I can give the character Ivy. I can give her this because I know what I'm talking about. So Ivy is not me, but I know how it feels to come from Leipzig and to grow up there and to have this comfort zone also. Like first it is a comfort zone and then it gets so ugly also. And it was very important for me. I couldn't tell a story from, I don't know, from Kreuzberg in Berlin. That would be so just one view, and this is what I didn't want to have.
And it's something that I haven't seen done before. The portrayal of blackness, even black women, black German women, black German women from the East, like
Yeah.
I was also born in the East. So I also lived in Leipzig and Berlin. So there's lots of parallels. And I find it very important because that is not what comes to mind, I think, not only to a lot of people outside of Germany, but also a lot of people inside of Germany. I don't know if you ever got this notion that, like, don't go to Leipzig, it's very dangerous, and, for POCs. But if you grow up in the East, there is danger, but you also know the other side. And
Yes.
you live there your whole life, or you live there and you have family there. So that was really interesting. So for me, it was very, I don't know, it feels like it gives some value to something that has so far not been uh, showed, or it's just a reality that hasn't been presented yet. So that was great to see. What was your biggest goal? Of course, that it runs in lots of festivals and it will be successful, which I think it is already. But what was your hope for the story? What was your desire?
Yeah, to make the people laugh and cry. And that's very difficult to find an easy storytelling, and a very so many layers are in the story, I think, to portray this woman, all the women and all the men in the movie, because it's an ensemble kind of, and that was the biggest goal, to show many people, many stories, but bring them in the right, in good portions, like to bring that in, and that you also can laugh, because I think I'm a happy person. I'm not a lucky or a happy. I try to see the world better than it is, because if I don't do it, I I I couldn't survive this. So I decided I have to find a way that they can also laugh, and that I don't wanna fight against white people. I don't wanna make as I want to bring them together and to show also. So my mom is white, so I don't wanna disturb her. Is disturb the right word? No.
Yeah, like you don't want to, yeah.
I don't want her to be angry with me. Because that was a big goal.
Yeah, I get this. And like I with that, the ensemble you talked about and the different perspectives that you wanted to bring together to kind of create something, reconcile something, maybe also, and have that joy, and also, the tragedy, like everything in there. I was wondering, like, it's sometimes I was like, okay, there is obviously in that there's still the duality between, like, the white perspective and the black perspective. It's, to me anyway, it's very clear. Like I can see it in it, in the film. And you spoke about the ensemble, and what I noticed is that you portrayed a huge range of blackness. There was obviously there's Ivy, um, and played by Haley. Is that right? Haley Louise Jones. And then there's Naomi, played by Lorna Ishima. I purposely mention all the actors' names because I feel like, especially Black actors, need to be just mentioned.
Yeah.
And then there is Miriam, which is like Naomi's mother, played by Sherry Hagen. And then there's Rosi, played by Dela Dabulamansi, and Achim, played by Laliusek, right? Halilusek.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and then there's obviously there's also Amadou, who's like not played by an actor, but his presence is felt throughout the whole movie. And they are all different versions of Black, like they're not all same. They're very different in their characters. And there's another Black actor in the hair salon, which is really a beautiful character as well.
The grandma.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
loved it. And
she's not an
so,
actress. She didn't love it so much at the set. She was a little bit like, oh, this is filmmaking. Because I found her, because actually I wanted 10 old ladies in the Afro shop. That would be like the mother, the motherhood. I don't know. I wanted to give to Ivy, and then Corona came and we have to shoot it in Corona times. So I got one in this small room. So, and she filled it. She made that so beautiful. She's like yeah,
she definitely did. And beautiful character. So with all these Black people and presence in the movie, when you wrote the screenplay, were you intentional about creating these different characters who are all different in their Blackness, like different Black people? And second question is, did you have a specific audience in mind while writing it?
Okay, first question. Yes, I constipated it. Is that right?
Yeah, created it. Yeah.
I created it. And if you watch the movie again, you can see my concept was from the beginning, like the dramaturgy is like going more and more, coming in and on pushes Ivy and everything else. And also the Black people are more and more in. So we have just the two ladies, and then it gets more and more and more. And in the end, you see also the mother of Naomi. I didn't give her the space before because I wanted to, and then we can see her mother before we just have her on the phone. And that was the plan behind the story. Yeah, I planned it. Yeah. I loved it to give more and more. And we didn't cut any side character out of the movie. Everybody is in. So I'm very happy.
Wow. I have another question about that, but the second question.
Second question. I didn't have an audience. I don't like it to write for an audience. That is like the stupidest thing you can do, because then you are in a cage to write it like that they like you. So you know, I don't want that. I question myself in every part of this filmmaking. What would this person think? What would this person think? But I didn't say, okay, I want to do a movie for people between 20 and 30, mostly women. I didn't do this. And actually, it's really interesting because you have to do it for the money and give for the development and for the TV station and for everybody. You have to say, what is it? What is the audience? But actually, and then we said also what it is, and we thought it's also woman, and then you find your words. But it's so interesting. In the end, I think we got a new group of people we didn't recognize before. That was men from 35 up. You know, like that was really like the feedback from them was amazing, and they cried and they laughed and they want to talk to me, and it was like, okay, it's maybe a movie for men. But that's why I don't want to say I make it for this audience, kind of, but hopefully maybe I could say I wanted to make it for young people also, to give the new generation, like, or give the old generation the opportunity to think about racism and everything else, and then the younger have it more easier in this German word.
Yeah.
Maybe that, but it's not really a personal audience. It's more.
Well, I feel very young right now because it really spoke to me. And there were like cute little elements like the Game Boy on the toilet. I was like, that's my time. I was like, I felt seen, and I was like, okay, there's like little hints everywhere. Where I felt really strongly connected to my childhood and to my upbringing. I understand that like having a specific audience in mind can be limiting. And then if you're too focused on that, you don't reach potential audiences like you just described who are totally touched and moved by this film. And so I mentioned these characters also because and I'm totally aware I'm focusing a lot on the Black characters here, but I think that is just very needed to have these discussions. And we talked already about this relationship between and Naomi and her mother, and it was, just like you said at the beginning, it was just a phone call, and we couldn't see her mother, but you could already, it was so telling, the relationship, between this Black mother, just with this little tiny little hint of like correction of like, her name. She talks to her, she calls her by her first name, which interestingly enough, Ivy does as well, but with her white mother, it's like normal, right? But like with the Black mother, and I have a Black mother, so for me it was like, it's just like the strictness of the idea, the respect of the country where the Black mother is from, with where the person in Germany grows up. I have totally, like, this was my mother. I was just like, and so I obviously, and probably this is personal too, I wished for this relationship to be expanded because I was so happy that it happened later on. I didn't expect it, so it totally worked. Your concept that it became more and more. I didn't think that the mother would appear, and when she did, I loved it because that the way they were interacting, I felt that they were close, but also there was a distance between them. And I also liked that the mother was from a certain background, she came across like a very educated Black woman. And that is something that I noticed right away with Naomi, because you don't have like bouncers who like organize readings, like you don't see that much. So I was like, oh, there's the connection to the mother. At least that's what I interpreted. So my question is, was there ever a thought of expanding that relationship and showing a little bit more of that kind of, it's like, it was like like dissonance in music. That's how it felt. Like it was like there was music between them, but it was like not really connecting.
Yeah, it is really a good question. I decided not to expand the story because I would more, it's a new movie, and I'm so interested in the story too, like you. I was really, really happy about the scene like we created. I wrote it, but it is also like when then in the editing it comes together, it was for me like mind-blowing. And I was happy that I didn't do it bigger because I couldn't bring it in the movie. It is like, and I'm so happy that you see all this parallels to the reading and the bouncing and everything else, and it's like a the culture I wanted to show. If you grow up in Berlin and you have this mother sitting in her flat, maybe there are also books like in your room. I don't know, we don't see it, but we can feel it, that it is there. So it's different to Gabi, who is living in a house in Leipzig, like the mother of Ivy, but she's actually the same. She's close and distant to her sister, because I wanted to show a relationship for both with her mothers, that they're grown, they're not living home, they're older, they're 13 or 20. So they're far from their mothers, but very close.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I wanted to show two ways of it. It's just two ways. So, and then you have your mother, I have my mother, and Haley could say, the actress could say, oh, and did you met my mother too? Because she's like Gabi, and then you have her more and more, and then the audience can fill it with their own feelings and with their own experience they have. And for me, that was more important than to story tell the mother story of Naomi. Is that a good answer? You understand it? It's like, it's a miracle, or it's like, now it's a secret. You can fill it with your own vision you have of their relationship, and in the next movie we could tell her story.
Yeah, I totally understand it. I just maybe I would push a little bit more, or ask a little bit further in that direction, where this is just one story, but also the story between Gabi and Achim. Achim has like a very short scene, but now don't go crazy. My father's called Achim, and so it's like, I'm just like, Zara, what did you do? But like, it's really funny because my father is like white, right? And but this Achim figure is a black person who, to me, acts very white, very like gesetzlich, or very like, this is how you do things, and let's all come down, and like that kind of I don't know, a certain picture of a certain white man of a certain class, and so on. And even there, I found that interesting. That's what I earlier on said, is like a different dynamic, because it's also a white woman who first, was with Amadou and Ivie's father, and now has a black man, a relationship to another black man. It's like there's so many layers in all of this that I was like, okay, how can we, like, I wanted more, which is maybe the perfect place to have your audience wanting more. So that's already amazing. I just feel that there were obviously there was a big focus on Ivy. She was the lead, but also we got to know her best friends really well, and the black characters apart from Ivy were not so much in focus, and I just wanted to know if that was that from the first moment clear, that was like in the script and done like this, or did that, like, was that influenced by outside factors? I don't know who was in the, if there was anybody in the writer's room, or if it was important to have like a strong white perspective.
No, it's not. Do you think it's a strong white perspective?
No, not in general, not in general. But it just comes from my longing to have these specific scenes that I mentioned. The specific scenes that I mentioned, like, expanded a little bit more, and you just explained to me like it's like a whole another movie. But I just and I get that, but I just thought, is there any other reason, or was that just
no? It was
the choice.
I started the story as I would say an Ivy. I didn't know if I have the name at the beginning, but I have a woman like Ivy and her friendship to her friends. And I wanted to make a movie about friendship and a little bit family. And then this plot came that I thought, okay, it could be interesting to get more than one view, one person of color, if I bring a sister in. If there's a sister knocking on the door who brings a lot in. So that was the reason why I decided to make her the lead, this Ivy, and gave her Naomi to that. Yeah, for the story it was more is better, you know. And then it comes, but I didn't. It was the other way that you was thinking about it, but it's okay because you have the final film now. So, but I was never thinking that someone is too less in the story or kind of, because it grows with the story. There's the sister now. She tells you your father is dead. I'm your sister. Hello. And then I started the story, and from that it comes more and more. I didn't start. Yeah, if I restarted, if I would do it again, it would be another movie, because then maybe another question would be in the beginning. But yeah, so
I see. Okay, I have two more questions. Time is nearly up, but I really want to know. So the first question is about Ivy's nickname, Brownie, or Schoko in German. That plays, I would say, a big role because at the beginning it's like presented as normality. That's what she has been called for over 25 years. And then there is we can follow Ivy's best friend Anne as she goes through a whole development, right? She's starting to reflect on that term, and if it's really at this beginning, she's very defensive and is like, "What's your problem?" And then she starts questioning till the end when she finalizes by like, "Okay, maybe I should just call you Ivy," or definitely give up that nickname. So, how much did you discuss? Because this is kind of I think it touches on the topic of internalized racism and the racism that we find in our daily life. Um, how much did you discuss that with the actors, like before making this movie? How much did you discuss this with even the crew, like with the people behind, behind the camera? How and with maybe producers, was this a topic that you discussed apart from like just doing the scenes,
Yeah. So there are a lot of answers. So in the time where we did it, for example, the role Anna is played by Anne Haug, and she's a friend of mine and a very great actress, I think. So I decided to give her the role because I knew that she never had or didn't have this process of Anne, because she don't need it. She is woke like Anne can get. It's difficult because they both are called Anne, but she's Anne and she plays Anna. So the role is developing something or is in a story, but I knew that Anne Haug knows that already. She knows that she don't have this problem, so she's far from that. She's not, maybe I would say. So I never met her. Like I was thinking, she's more woke than me, I would say. And so I decided to give her the role. That was very important for me, and we talked a lot. Because she had to play this difficult role, but I could talk to her because she was on another step. And then if you make kind of this kind of music, I wanted to say, no, movie, you have to discuss every single day, I would say. It's totally normal, but I don't do it in a big group. So team, crew, let's sit together and let's talk about racism. We didn't have the need to do this because I chose my people I work with, or the people chose me to work with, because we all knew that we are doing this movie and it's very important, and also for this topic, racism. And so I get a lot of aware people who also in the crew, for example, there are a lot of people just coming because of this story into it. But I wouldn't say that then it was easy. So we had also rehearsals where we have had problems and we had to talk again about something someone says, and then is that okay? And also the very strong scene when Naomi help me, wenn sie angespuckt wurde.
Yeah, when they spit on her. Yeah.
When they spit on her. I always forget this word, sorry. So we talked a lot with all the actors and actresses in this scene. We talk more, we rehearse a little bit, because you can't rehearse that so often.
Yeah.
And I always ask, is that okay? And everybody was kind of. So I didn't do a crew workshop in
critical whiteness or diversity.
Critical whiteness. But I had the honor to work with people who have had that before. You know, who did the work
before. Yeah.
Did the work before. Thank you. And for the next project, I have to do it. Maybe I'm not like, you know, if it's a new team, if it's a new crew, you have to do it. Or no, you have to check it before. But for this movie, I didn't need it.
Thank you. Cool. My final question is connected to the success you have had and your team and your crew with this movie. And I would even go as far as suggesting that Precious Ivy is one of the few German films that portray lives of Black German characters. In your case, also the lead identifying as female. And so, in your opinion, why do you think it took so long to bring such a valid story to the screen? It's been successful, so could have been happened before, which is
wow, that's the most difficult question in the end.
So now you have 30 seconds.
yeah. I don't know. I really don't know why it took so long. For us, it took very long. I understand you. For you, as a girl from former Eastern German, as a Black girl, me, we could be, you know, we could be friends if we met before. And for us, it's very, very late. We didn't have that before. But the answer has to give has the others given. Others has to give, the TV station has to give the answer. I don't know. I'm not in. I just felt that before there was a fight for women that they can play lead roles, and now they're fighting for also Black women can be the lead role, and it has always its time. And now it's the time for that, and we want to do a lot of. We want to do more films like that. That's important.
Yes.
That it's not just Ivie or Precious Ivy. There are so many stories, and give them the chance. And we don't need only these movies, but it's the beginning. And I knew that this is going to be a big pressure, because I knew that I've been maybe one of the first who have 2 Black women in a German movie.
Yes, exactly.
In a lead role. Yeah.
So with these words, I would like to say thank you so much for creating a groundbreaking film and making cinema history and German film history. That's it. I hope it will go into the universities and will be screened and expand the canon. And thank you for creating this film and taking the time for this Q&A. I wish you all the best and success for all the new projects that are coming. And I want to see more stories like Precious Ivy. So,
yes.
Thank you so much.
We will do it. Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in, and I hope you'll get to see this film and other films of the festival. All the best, and see you soon. Bye.